Okay folks, Sculpt140 back for another toy review, and this time we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit different today. Today we're taking a look at, from Toy Biz's legendary comic book heroes line, The Darkness, or the character Jackie Estacado from The Darkness, because that's who we're looking at today. When it comes to obscure and underground comics, The Darkness fits that description perfectly, in that I really get the feeling that not many people know of the series and where it stands in the role of comics. I know that The Darkness has teamed up with Witchblade on a regular occasion, and those stories are pretty good for what they are. And plus, because the comic wasn't well known before then, we have the game that came out in 2007, and also the sequel that came out earlier this year, which I was a little bit disappointed by, but that's for a different video that I'll get into another time. The first game, though, I still regard as being a masterpiece on the current generation, or the current video game systems that we're using right now. Even if the gameplay is a bit ropey, the story is what made the game stand out. But let's get this game out of the way, though, for the moment, because that's not what we're looking at today. We're looking at, of course, the figure itself, Jackie Estacado, the main character from The Darkness. This is really one of those toys I've been meaning to look at for a while, because The Darkness really hasn't got its fair share of toys. The only toys I can think of aside from this one are the ones that were made by Claiborne Moore, which are quite hard to come by, and from what I can gather are quite expensive. At some point I will own those toys, but just not right now. So for the moment we're just going to have to settle with this one. When it comes to the legendary comic book heroes line, though, it's a line that I don't really know that much about, and I've recently just got into, but from what I can gather, the line is known for taking comic book characters from different comics, and with those toys, you get a big piece of another figure to combine to make that figure. This Jackie Estacado comes with the piece of the character Monkey Man. It comes with the waist of Monkey Man. I don't have the piece with me to show you, but this toy does come with the piece of the character Monkey Man. So if you want to build that character, you have to get those other toys to make said character. But let's get that out of the way, though, and let's get onto the toy itself. Here is the toy in all of its glory. It's a great toy, and even though there isn't really much I can say in terms of accessories, it's a great toy to just have and just look at as well in terms of the detail and design. The one thing that I'm impressed by is just how close the sculptors and designers of this figure, and how close Toy Biz managed to get this figure to look exactly like Jackie Estacado in the comics. I never was a fan of this suit that Jackie always wore when he was possessed by the Darkness. It does have a little bit of a Guyverish feel to it, and it's a bit techno-organic, but hey-ho, what are you going to do? And plus, one thing that I like to see is companies trying very hard with their toys and making them as accurate to the comic or whatever is possible, and this hits that nail on the head perfectly. I like this toy a lot. All over the toy you can see some great detailing, great muscle sculpting as well. Of course, on the body you'll notice that all over the toy is this dark green and silver paint with bits of gold to make it stand out, and it just looks really, really cool. I like this a lot. On the arms, on the chest, and on the legs, very nice work. Let's take a look at the head first of all. Now here you can see the head, of course, Jackie's head, which is quite nicely sculpted and more detailed. Of course, you have the long hair, which is molded plastic, so it can't really move, sadly. And the faceplate of this guy is quite nicely sculpted. And of course, he has the grimacing, piercing, evil yellow eyes, which are really, really badass. And the head is on a ball joint, which can move up and down, and can rotate the 460 as well. When it comes to articulation, and I'm saying when it comes a lot, but the articulation in this figure is outstanding. Outstanding really isn't even the word to describe the articulation in this. This figure has so much articulation, it's unreal, in that you have articulation in the arms, in the shoulder. There's a shoulder mechanism which can move up and down like that, and normally the arms would rotate the full 360, but because of these, which we'll get onto in a minute, kind of stop that. But of course the arms can move up and down like that, and there's a joint which can swivel right here at the bicep, and there are two joints in the elbow which can move like that, which is quite nice, and the hands can move like that as well. But the hands, of course, are known for having articulated fingers. That's something you don't see in toys that much anymore, and that's something that I really think we need to see more of, because articulated fingers in toys are a plus to have, if anything. The fingers, of course, the four fingers are movable like that, which are really nice. You can have this guy doing all sorts of cool, crazy hand gestures. Same with this one as well, which is quite nice. On the stomach, of course, there's a ab crunching part, which of course can click like that. The ab crunching mechanism, which is really, really cool and very nice. The waist can swivel as well, which is quite good. The legs, of course, there's a joint which can move like that, and two joints in the knee right there, which can move. You can move these legs back as far as they can go, and of course there's a swivel joint right here, and the ankle joints can move back and forth, and there's a bending toe. Both toes can bend like that, which is really, really good. So yeah, this figure's articulation is all over the place. It's really something. The one thing that I've got a complaint with though is just this. This is the part of the figure which is a bit of a problem, and it stops the arms from moving anywhere else. But of course, these demonic wing things kind of are in the way, and of course they are very flimsy, thin plastic, which be careful with though, because these are quite brittle over time, and they will snap if you move them too much. But then again, they're there because they want to make them. They're there because they want to make this figure look as accurate to the comic as possible, and really I can't say further than that. If only they were smaller, then that would help, but because they're big and sadly they're not removable, it's a bit of a problem, but what are you going to do? So this figure is really, really good. Let's just get this guy in one of the many cool poses you can put him into to help make it stand out just a bit more. Like I said before, this figure has got some great articulation. It's really something. I'm impressed to see a company do very well with their toys, especially when it comes to comic book characters, and making them as accurate to how they look in the comics as possible. And that's really something. I would like to see more Darkness toys in the future. Hopefully, if another company will come up and take the series again and do something with it, that would be nice. But what are you going to do? So yes, let's get this figure out of the way because he's kind of done. And we're going to look, of course, we're going to finish this off by looking at the little demons he comes with, the Darklings, that of course can be summoned when Jackie uses his dark powers to kill people and what have you. There's not really much you can say about these little guys. They're very well detailed, more sculpted and painted. This one, of course, has a gold earring, which is quite nice. Very demonic looking, very, very creepy. And this one, of course, has his tongue sticking out, which is quite nice. And very well detailed, more sculpted. So there you go. These little guys, they don't really do anything. They're not meant to do anything. They're just there to help make this figure stand out. But they're cool, and that's fair, I think. So there you go. That's pretty much the figure in general. If you're a fan of the Darkness, if you've never read the Darkness, I would recommend reading the Darkness comics a lot. It's a really good comic series. And if you've never played the game, I would recommend it as well. I'm just pointing at the game right now, just letting you know that this game is very good for what it is. And the sequel, I will do a video about the sequel another time, but that's not right now. But anyway, yes, to wrap this up, the figure is really good. Great detailing, great sculpting. The little Darklings are a very nice rendition, and they're not bad, I guess, but I really think this figure could add a little bit more. The only thing that I've got a problem with is just this, but that's just a small thing that doesn't really bother me that much. So I would highly recommend this figure. If you've never read The Darkness before, I would read it. It's a really good comic. So anyway, this has been the Legendary Comic Book Heroes Series 2 Monkey Man The Darkness, and I'm Sculpt1410. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you all next time.